What's your emergency?
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the PIO Podcast, a place for all things public information related for police, fire, EMS, local, state, and federal government. An open forum to learn, grow, and develop your public information skills. My name is Robert Cordovetti, and I am your host. I am a public information officer with over 17 years in the field and 27 years of law enforcement background. In each episode, we will explore different aspects of the public information officer profession. Weekly, we'll delve into the field of public information by talking to other PIOs. Welcome to Season 5. Thank you for your support of the podcast. I can't believe we're in our 5th season. So sit back and enjoy this episode. Today on the PIO Podcast, we'd like to welcome Director of Communications and Community Relations, Lauren Burton, from the Douglas County District Attorney's Office in Georgia. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, Lauren, I noticed something when I was doing my background is that you do not have a communications background. Can you talk about how you transitioned to this position and how you became the Director of Communications and Community Relations?
Okay, so I've been with the District Attorney's Office since 2013. I originally started in the office as a victim advocate. In 2021, we had a new district attorney elected into office here. She, prior to her coming into office, we had just one of our employees would just handle Facebook. It was more just for press releases and any other little minute news stories, nothing too big. But when she came in, she wanted to have more communications and social media, more stories out with the media, and just more interaction in the community as a whole. And I was dubbed the social media guru before she came in the office. And so in 2021, she asked me if I could become the communications person on top of being a victim advocate. So
Wow.
so I was doing our communications and I had my own caseload as an advocate for up to a year and a half. And then due to the amount that we had in the communications, our community events, she said, do you want to do this full time? And so officially in 2022, I fully transitioned into the Director of Communications for our office.
Interesting that started out as you're the guru, which is always funny.
Yeah.
That's usually how most of us got into it. They just said, hey, you go do it. You have fun with it. And it's something that's dubbed, just out of accident in a sense. But one of the other things I noticed about when I started researching you for the show was Douglas County itself and where it was located. So obviously it's in Georgia.
Mhm.
What's the population in Douglas County?
We are around 150,000 citizens here. We are west of Atlanta. We're about 20 miles from downtown Atlanta.
Would you be considered a suburb of Atlanta then?
Yes,
Okay.
We are part of Metro Atlanta.
Okay. So, and one of the other things that I noticed is the median household income is like $79,000, which is pretty high for the South in the sense. So how does that impact crime in the community?
So our community is, I think, very unique because we do have a lot of industry in different parts of our communities, which helps impact the income being a little bit higher. We're fairly close to Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, which is the busiest airport in the world here in Atlanta. So we get a lot of people with industry from that. So crime, we have the higher income, then we have the lower income, in certain parts of our community. So it's our crime here, we have everything. I-20 pretty much splits our community in half. So we see a lot of crime we see, you can see it from the interstate, people coming in that aren't from here, that don't live here. But we handle several thousand cases every year of crime, and it's a wide variety. We do have the drugs, we do have gangs, we have you see domestic violence, we do have murders, and you also have DUIs and vehicular homicides here.
What is the daytime population in the county? Do you know, with that much activity going on?
I'm not sure of the daytime population. I do know we do have a lot of our citizens do commute out of our community to Atlanta or to Cobb County, which is right beside us, or even to around the airport, other busier areas of Atlanta.
So you got a lot of commuter traffic coming back and forth. That's pretty much, and which obviously contributes to some of the crime that's going on in the community.
Yes.
So how many people work for you in the communications and community relations office?
So it is me, myself, and I. I am
Wow, 3 people. Awesome.
Yeah. So I'm a one-woman show. I am fortunate. I do have members of our office. They do help me when I need it, whether it's taking photos or helping at community events. They'll help me there. And I have great leadership here in the office. So they will, when we are doing press releases, they'll, we'll talk about it. They'll double check with me to make sure I have all the facts, especially when we have cases or like jury convictions or pleas. Our prosecutors are great to make sure I get all the key facts from the cases in the press releases.
That's awesome. It's very important to have that buy-in from your fellow employees. It makes life so much easier.
Oh, yes. I'm very fortunate to have good buy-in.
So since there's 3 of you that handle all the communications and social media and community outreach, can you explain what your daily activities are that just, you don't need to go into the very specifics, but the broad spectrum of it?
Every day is different. Some days it is completely social media, and other days I am running all over our community to events, talking to other departments, planning events, because that is one of my duties is I help plan events that our office hosts, as well as attending other departments' events. And, if we have presentations coming up, I'm working on the media for that. I'm working on marketing materials for the office. We do a lot of in-house pamphlets on on crime prevention. And, that's every day is different. It's busy. I don't ever really have much of a downtime, which I enjoy. I like it.
Lauren, wait a minute. So you're also doing the brochures and stuff like that you put out to the community. Did you have a background in marketing or in graphic design?
No. So my degree is in sociology with an emphasis in criminal justice. I sort of kind of self-taught myself with all the Adobe products. I am big into photography, so that does help a little. But yeah, it's all self-taught. I've, attended online classes for it, gone to trainings, but yeah, I don't have a degree or a background. It's just all self-taught.
That's okay. I mean, I was curious to hear because I always love when I find that there's somebody that didn't have a journalism background or that is doing this job and that they've done a lot of self-teaching or they've attended courses or whatever to do the job so well. So kudos to you for doing that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
What in Douglas County, what social media platforms are you guys currently utilizing to connect with the community?
So we use Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We do dabble a little bit in TikTok. We don't do TikTok as much as we used to, but we will occasionally, if we have a fun video, we'll place it on TikTok. X, we have an X account, but we don't use it like you see other agencies using it. But our following's not big on there, so I don't really go there. We do have a Threads account. Again, we don't use that as much as LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook are our main ones.
Okay. So, and that was going to be my next question. What do you consider your basics? So obviously the type of information you're putting out is more conducive for those platforms than of course like X, where it's very fast and you know minimal text, high graphic, and it probably doesn't work for you guys, which is why law enforcement tends to use it, because it does work better for them to get information out. Awesome. So let me ask you this. How do you handle media inquiries and ensure consistent messaging?
We have our executive assistant to the DA. She does help me with media inquiries. She receives them and then she will filter them to our district attorney and to me at the same time. And then we will meet and discuss what kind of statement we're going to have. And like I said, I do all the press releases, so that keeps the voice consistent there for our office.
And that was going to be my next question, is what strategies do you use to ensure accurate and timely information being put out?
So for us, especially when we have jury trials or pleas, I will work up the press releases prior to the event to make sure that we have everything accurate. And then, the DA, we will talk right when it happens and she'll make a statement for us to place into the press release. That way we get those out timely and it's not several hours or even a day later. We pretty much within an hour or two of a verdict, we have the press release sent out.
Can you discuss, if you've had a successful media campaign that you led and its impact?
I would have to say we did a thing called the Thrive Drive. It was for Victims' Rights Week, which is a week we have every year, usually in April or May, that puts a big emphasis on victims' rights. And we pushed out a campaign. It was all through social media. We did send it internally and to the departments here in the county, but we collected travel-sized toiletry items for our domestic violence programs here in our community. And the response that we got on just social media and from the community was great. I mean, over 200 kits, I think, were made total from the campaign. And yeah, so I was really proud of that. And then in the same Victims' Rights Week, we did a video campaign with some of our survivors from crimes that we've had. I interviewed them. Some of them did not want to be on camera. They just wanted to write something. So I did a 4-video series with them about their story, and we shared it over Victims' Rights Week. And I liked that. That was probably my favorite campaign I've made so far.
I would have to say that's something you don't see a lot of, the victims speaking or even having something like that, a campaign. I think that's something extremely powerful, especially when you're trying to get the message across about a specific type of abuse or crime that has affected somebody. So I would, you know what, you're going to have to send me a link for that if you've got one, because I definitely would like to put that in the show notes so that we can highlight that, because I think that would be great for other PIOs in the industry to see it and maybe look at for potential future thing for themselves.
Okay, yeah, I will send you a link to some of the videos.
When you first got in the position, what are some of the challenges that you faced with digital communication and how did you overcome them?
When I first came into this position, it was really learning what you needed to do to make it an effective communications as a government agency. It was, you hear the talk of, do you keep the comments on? Do you keep them off? So it was a lot of learning about the First Amendment and discussing that with our leadership and why we do not do that for our office. And then it was also, we only had a Facebook when I started. So I had to create the LinkedIn, the Facebook, all of our accounts, aside from the Facebook account, I ended up creating. So it was starting that, and we didn't have consistent branding. So it was starting our branding and how does that look for us? What do we present to the community? And it was a lot of what colors and what font. It was just learning to do all that as well, coming, from a background that isn't in graphic design.
So did you do a style guide then for the entire organization?
Yes. So
Awesome.
I was, I've kept it very simple. So all of our pamphlets, everything, it matches our style guide. It's consistent, our, especially for like our graphics, like I wanted it to be consistent, even down to our PowerPoint is in brand. Anything we present internally and externally is branded to our style guide.
And now, a word from our sponsors. Increase your social media reach and streamline your workflow with Social News Desk, the social media management software trusted by government agencies across the country. Publish effortlessly and securely across multiple social networks, including Nextdoor. Stay connected with social listening, engagement, and reporting tools all in one place. And here's an exclusive offer just for PIO podcast listeners. Get 3 months free when you sign up. Head over to socialnewsdesk.com/PIO to get started today. And now back to our episode. Absolutely. It's the way it should be. And that's that, it's amazing that somebody that in your background, so not having a graphic arts design background or anything like that, understands the necessity for that and then went through the effort to create it. So again, kudos to you for doing that extra work. And what it does is it just makes consistency in the brand and connects everything together. And that's a great job that you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much.
Since you already answered this next question, is there anything else you've implemented to the office and changes since you've taken over?
So it was more of the district attorney, but it was also me as well. And just our leadership. Prior to our current DA, we weren't in the community like we are now. You didn't see us at community events. Now we are averaging 30 to 45 events per year. And that doesn't include just simple presentations at schools. This is us actually setting up our tent or setting up a table. We are out there. People have started noticing us. So that was a big push for us, was getting into the community and going to these events, hosting our own events. We actually host a 5K in October for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And last year was our third year, and we had over 140 runners.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that's one of my pet projects is our 5K. I enjoy creating the flyers for that and getting out in the media for that and just our community. It was really more just pushing our office and our agency into the community when we didn't really have, you knew of our office. Everyone knows about, oh yeah, there's a district attorney's office, but they don't know what do they do? Who are they?
Right.
But now like our community is, they're like, oh, well, we heard this event because of your Facebook. We heard about this on your Instagram. So that's what I like to hear when I'm like, oh, we only came because we saw the flyer that you shared or you shared the event.
That's great feedback to get, and it helps you understand your reach and how it's connecting. So outstanding job there. So that's a little bit of the evaluation, which could lead to my next question. How are you evaluating your communications efforts that you share with the public? Do you have a method of evaluating, or is it just anecdotal as it comes in?
Just anecdotal as it comes in. For social media, I keep it very organic. I go to each platform and I pull a report every month and then, review it with our leadership team to see, what kind of growth there was, what was the big hitter on each platform, what was our engagement. And then also, I look at for community events, how many people did we see? How much of our swag items or our pamphlets were given out? because, the more community involvement that you have, and, they receive these crime prevention pamphlets, you could help them, help prevent crime that's in the community if they know to look out for certain signs or what to do to help prevent it.
So true. And it's very important that you do those evaluations. So great job on that. Here's a kind of a semi-political question then, I guess, because the district attorney is a political being. How does community outreach communications work from the viewpoint of the district attorney's office for him himself?
So she is
I'm sorry, she.
I know you're fine. So she's very good about being in the community and communicating. She is an elected position, so because of that, every 4 years she's up for reelection. So but election year or not, she is always very well in the community. She's at these events. We actually do a series on our social media called Monthly Minutes with Dahlia, which is our district attorney. And that's where every month, she'll make a video and she gives an update on what we do in our office. Is there anything upcoming in the community? That's one of our things that she's implemented to, get her face out there in the community.
And that's great that she's willing to do that and continue to do that, because the one thing they always want to see with the elected officials is what are they doing and how are they doing it? And if you're showing them that transparency month to month, I mean, what better way to do it than that way? So again,
Yes.
kudos to you and the efforts that you're doing in your office.
Thank you.
Is there a question I should have asked? And if so, how would you have answered it?
Can't think of one.
And that's okay. I always ask that at the very end, just,
Mhm.
oh, and I should have asked this one before that. Are you using any artificial intelligence to make your work easier or to enhance the work that you do?
I have used Chat GPT if I need a little bit of help with something, like because we all get, bogged down, or, there may be times where you're just like, okay, I don't have any ideas on how to word this. So that has helped a little bit. I won't use it word for word, but I'm like, oh, okay, well, that gives me a little jump start. But that's pretty as far as I'll go, because, sometimes you're burnt out or you're just tired.
Well, it helps you make leaps sometimes that you weren't ready to make simply because you weren't there or you just haven't made the connection yet. Sometimes when that door gets open because ChatGPT went a different direction, sometimes it gives you that opportunity. And I think that's where, as public information officers, we have to be willing to embrace that technology for certain things and not to use it as an all the time crutch, but it will help you make leaps that you would not normally do simply because you're like you said, we're busy and our brains are fried.
Yeah.
All right, let's change this up. How about some rapid fire questions?
Okay.
Texting or talking?
I'm a big texter. Yes, I am a texter. I do like to talk, but texting is just a lot quicker for me.
Book or movie?
I love to read, so book.
Coffee, tea, or energy drink?
I'm a big energy drink person. I have one every morning. I don't drink coffee. I do drink my sweet tea. I am from the South. But it's my energy drink. That is my go-to.
Awesome. Adult drink of choice?
Probably Moscato wine. That's just keep it simple.
If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
I think to be invisible. And just be in the room and see like what other people say.
Ask permission or beg for forgiveness?
Ask for permission.
What place do you most want to travel to?
I would love to go to Greece one day.
A lot of PIOs want to get out of the country and go to Greece. It's interesting. What's your favorite way to relax after a long day?
My favorite way to relax is reading a good book. If it's, colder weather, it's having a fire in my fireplace and just reading and having the music on. If it's, summertime, usually I'm sitting on the porch doing the same thing after work.
If you could choose to have an energy drink with any historical figure, who would it be?
Probably Princess Diane. I I like, you know, the royal family, it's just interesting. I think like she would probably be, or Queen Elizabeth. I have so many questions for them.
Be some interesting conversations. Absolutely.
Yes.
Final thoughts, Lauren. What key points would you like the listeners to take from today's interview?
It's just that, the DA's office, any district attorney's office, like, communicating to your community, they are a great asset for other agencies as well. Talk to your local district attorney's office and see what kind of communications they have and how they can partner with your agency.
Awesome. As we wrap up, is there a piece of wisdom or a motto that you live by?
A piece of wisdom that I received from one of my friends, and she is one of my mentors, is take the time. Take the time for yourself. So that is a
Self-care.
big thing. Yes. And especially for, PIOs and communicators, like we need to have that self-care. You can't just keep going. Like you got to take the time for yourself.
Yeah, burnout's a real thing. Really is.
Yes.
Lauren, how can people best reach out to you if they want to connect or follow up?
I am on all social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. You can find me there. They are more than welcome to email me at my work email, which is lburden@douglascountyga.gov.
And I will add that into the show notes. Lauren, thank you for being on the show.
Oh, thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this episode and our content. If you are listening on a platform that allows reviews, please give us a review. We read all reviews and your feedback is essential. Do not forget to check out our sponsor, Social News Desk. Thank you, Social News Desk, for their sponsorship and their offer to all our listeners. Please click the link at the bottom of today's show notes to help support the show. Your support in any amount is greatly appreciated. Until next time, take care, stay curious, and keep the conversation going. You're the heart and soul of the PIO podcast.